A new industry has sprung up and is booming across the UK, but you won't find it on any industrial estate, high street, or even listed on the stock exchange. I'm talking about the buying and selling of medicines, healthcare products, and all the sorts of things you might find down your local chemists. These, for instance, as you might expect from the fake Britain house, they're all fake. It's taking place in ordinary houses up and down the country. Even the neighbours might not know it's going on, but maybe they should, because it's illegal and dangerous.
It's just before dawn somewhere in the north of England. Outside a police station sits Danny Lee Frost, head of operations for the Medical Healthcare Regulatory Agency. His team's about to raid the house of a man suspected of selling fake health products.
We've got intelligence that leads us to somebody who is selling via eBay. The intention would be to have him arrested. Then there'll be a search of his premises looking for more product.
Police accompany Danny and his team on every raid due to the dangers involved.
Although we do have a warrant issued by a magistrate, which does permit forced entry if necessary, if there's any type of resistance or any breach of the peace, that's why the police will be there to prevent that.
The signal's given and the operation swings into action. As soon as the team arrives, they make quickly for the suspect's door.
Open the door, please.
We're officers from the Department of Health.
We're in.
We have a warrant issued under the medicines regulations to search the property.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Police officers, together with agents from the MHRA, enter the property.
Just go upstairs with Nancy to secure the female. Nancy? Yep.
Across Britain, behind suburban doors just like this, a huge new trade in dangerous fake drugs and devices is booming.
You want to go get your clothes when we get you?
While the man gets changed, officers discover a box of counterfeit razor blades. Sold through online auction sites, these blades have previously been found to contain human hair, skin and bacteria. Horrifyingly, the low-quality blunt metal can also scar users for life.
These were razor blades, aren't they?
Sorry?
Razor blades.
Yeah, I thought that's what you... I don't know, that's the only thing I've been selling. That's all I've been selling lately.
The man claims these are the only fake health products in the house, but that's not true. Upstairs, more razor blades are found, together with a substantial stash of counterfeit Viagra.
We've probably got 400 or 500 packs of medicines that we can bag up and take away.
Fake drugs have been found to contain amphetamines, brick dust, arsenic and even road paint, and supplied without prescription, they can kill.
But the reality of a glossy website that shows a doctor with a white coat and a stethoscope is not that it's coming from a pharmacy or from a doctor. It's actually coming from a housing estate such as where we are today.
The man is handcuffed and the operation continues. Anything that may contain evidence of selling illegal health products is seized.
Have you any other computers in the house?
Upstairs, the team discovers even more dodgy goods of a different kind.
Basically, we found a number of baseball caps, sunglasses in cases, and watches. We're going to look at involving the trading standards, see, get them down, come to have a look at this and help us with our investigation in relation to that.
Many dealers will sell almost anything to make money, unaware they could be dealing in people's lives. The internet makes it easy to sell fake and illegal goods. This man is even putting his own family at risk, storing drugs and other products in the bedroom of his young child.
Once you go through the front door, you just don't know what you're going to find. There's no indication from the website when we were looking at it earlier that anything else was going on. We are a private address. What goes on inside is private. You just don't know what you find when you go in.
Everything the team's found is taken away as evidence. The day's only just begun, but it's a bad start for this man. He's led away to the police van and then to the cells. He'll be questioned later in the day. But it's been a successful morning for Danny and the team. The trade in fake health products is a multi-billion-pound industry. The MHRA's mission is to remove these items from the streets of Britain.
We'll be taking this back to London and we'll be sending a sample off to the laboratory.
Illegally selling prescription drugs can be more profitable than dealing heroin. So for criminals across Britain, there's a huge incentive to get a piece of the action. This bag alone is worth over £10,000, and there's plenty of evidence of previous sales.
We've also got a large wad of post office postal receipts. We'll know more once we open this up and have a look, and once we actually get into his eBay account and know exactly what he's been selling.
The man is later cautioned, and the counterfeit drugs and other products are destroyed.
I suppose we all like to look in the mirror and see a Hollywood grin gleaming straight back at us. But the reality is that getting your teeth whitened professionally can cost a small fortune. That's where home teeth whitening kits can come in. But unfortunately, they leave you open to the fakers. And the smile they leave you with might not last that long.
Teeth whitening is big business. Most dentists now offer a teeth whitening service, and dedicated teeth whitening companies have sprung up across the country, committed to giving Britain slightly pearlier whites. First patients' teeth are examined, then a mould taken. Specially fitted mouth guards are then created. Into these moulds, the dentist puts a gel containing hydrogen peroxide, a chemical that works to whiten the teeth. After a series of treatments, patients can have dramatically whiter teeth. However, alongside the growth in professional services, sites have appeared online offering cheap, do-it-yourself bleaching kits. Whilst treatments run by qualified dentists can cost £500, website Smile Brighter Marketing offered kits from as little as £5.99, but claimed to give you the perfect smile. Essex Training Standards Officer Sarah Eichelbosch decided to investigate and made a test purchase. The kit consisted of syringes containing bleaching chemicals and a mouthguard. Users could self-administer at home. It seemed simple.
You fill the tray up with the product and then put it into your mouth and bite down on it, and over a period of time the chemicals that were in the product would work to actively whiten your teeth.
It also seemed safe. The teeth whitening kits claimed to abide by international law.
Both the website and the product itself were marked with the claim that the product had been EU approved, so it was all over the website. So he was creating the impression that the product was somehow safe and legal.
But teeth whitening products are governed by strict safety guidelines under cosmetic regulations. Sarah wanted to make sure the claims on the product were real and that it fell within legal limits. So samples were sent to Kent Scientific Services. Now, EU law dictates that only 0.1% of the chemical hydrogen peroxide is allowed in DIY teeth whitening products. Paulette Smith carried out an experiment to test the level of the chemical in the kits. She adds various other chemicals to change the gel into a form that she can then analyse.
The amount of this liquid it takes to turn this solution colourless will then tell us how much hydrogen peroxide is in the original teeth whitening gel.
After some quick follow-up calculations, the results are in.
From the analysis we've just carried out, we've calculated that there is 10.3% hydrogen peroxide in the tooth whitening gel.
And that's a whopping 103 times the legal limit. It means the product's claims about being EU tested must be fake. Remember, under EU law, it can only be 0.1%.
To find a level of hydrogen peroxide in something that you put in your mouth that was so far over the legal limit is quite shocking.
It also means the product is dangerous.
Using this type of tooth whitening product can lead to sensitivity of the teeth and gums, damage to the tooth enamel, and even burns in the mouth.
So what does the industry make of this product? Dr. Wyman Chan is teeth whitener to the stars.
I'm shocked such a high concentration can be sold over the internet in the UK. Hydrogen peroxide is a toxic chemical if it's not used properly or formulated properly. That means it can cause damage to your soft tissues and also can cause damage to the enamel. Open slightly wider now, please. Lots of products sold over the internet especially, they're usually acidic. they will take a layer of enamel away every time you put it on your teeth. By doing so, and that will take a bit of gums away as well. Then you end up with receding gums, and it's quite dangerous, in fact.
Wyman has received patients whose teeth have actually been made less white due to using cheap online whitening kits.
The alarming thing is that the patient actually complained that the teeth even look darker, because when the glaze is gone, your enamel become rough and it pick up stains more readily. This can be very painful. A glass of cold water, a glass of hot tea, give you a lot of pain.
Dr. Chan's also concerned that cheap online teeth whitening mouth guards are not specially moulded to the patient's mouth, and that allows the illegal chemicals to leak out and corrode the gums. Back at Essex Trading Standards, Sarah Eichelbosch was astounded by the test results for Smile Brighter Marketing's products.
I was really shocked to receive the results and really, in my mind, confirmed the fact that this was an important product safety issue and that we really did need to address it.
Sarah mobilised her team and raided the registered address of the business. The man behind it was Mr. Barrington Armstrong Thorpe.
He directed us to a shed in the rear garden, and it was quite a large shed, absolutely full of product.
Piles of syringes containing the product and boxes plastered with the fake safety claims were found and confiscated. Thorpe was cautioned, but within weeks he was back at it.
Because we'd done the first test purchase, we were on his email list, so he then emailed out to everybody saying, I've had to change my website.
Now trading as Brighter Smile, Armstrong Thorpe was still making fake claims that the product was EU approved. Sarah was staggered.
A bit of barefaced cheek, really, that, you know, one day you've issued him with a caution and the next minute he's saying, oh, here's how to get more product from me.
The syringes, now marked with Brighter Smile, were tested again, and again they failed. Sarah raided Armstrong Thorpe for a second time.
There were syringes strewn across the coffee table, jiffy bags in a box waiting to be stuffed. There were postage labels. There were extracts from orders that were on the table. One of the bedrooms was being used as a study. The study was absolutely chock-a-block with syringes.
Armstrong Thorpe claimed the products all belonged to a friend of his and he was just storing them as a favour. Unfortunately for him, it was an obvious clue that this just wasn't true.
The telephone number that was marked on the syringes was a mobile telephone number, and when we came into his property that morning, we'd rung that number and we'd asked him where his phone was, and he'd pointed to the telephone that was ringing.
In reality, the faker had reinvested heavily in the dangerous product.
During the raid on his property for a second time, we seized over 3,700 syringes with a retail value of over £21,000.
Amazingly, within days, Armstrong Thorpe had put up a third website, Smile Brighter Now. Another raid followed. Over 3 operations, Sarah seized colossal quantities of the dangerous teeth bleacher from the Essex fraudster.
This is just a small selection of product from the large quantity that we seized across the 3 warrants that we undertook at Mr. Thorpe's properties. We've got a box of syringes here, but this is just one of 5 that we actually seized on the day.
No longer smiling brightly, Armstrong Thorpe was jailed at Chelmsford Crown Court for 16 months for selling products with fake safety claims and for repeatedly breaching the Cosmetic Product Regulations Act 2008. After a 3-year investigation, Sarah Eichelbosch was delighted with the result.
He said during the interview that he thought that trading standards were toothless tigers, and that if he ignored us, we would simply go away. But he realised now that that was not the case.
Paulette Smith has since tested numerous other low-cost DIY teeth bleaching kits, all available on the web. Alarmingly, the vast majority contain dangerous and illegal quantities of hydrogen peroxide. Charities in the UK make life better for millions of people every year, but they need our help to do it. And one of the ways we can help them raise funds is by taking a bag like this, filling it full of unwanted clothes, and then leaving it on the doorstep for collection. But it turns out that even charities can fall prey to the fakers. And the sums of money that are involved are staggering. Fake Britain has shown previously how fakers are exploiting the charity sector, sending out fake leaflets for real charities and stealing donations of clothes to then sell on for a profit.
We've been losing about 50 tonnes a week to these bogus collectors and these thieves.
But we can reveal that this charity fakery has now reached epic proportions. Customs officials at the port of Dover have seized 80,000 counterfeit collection bags being shipped across the border into the UK in just one vehicle. Mark Rolfe is head of East Kent Trading Standards. He's come here to his team's storage facility to examine the shocking haul.
This is one of our secure stores. It's where we keep evidence of the various cases that we're working on at the moment. You'll see around here we've got fake DVDs, we've got fake clothing, we've got fake alcohol. But this is our biggest seizure of recent weeks, which is fake charity collection bags.
It's the biggest seizure of fake charity bags ever recorded. Cancer Relief UK is a real organisation, but these bags are 100% counterfeit.
We spoke to the charity and the charity told us that they haven't done door-to-door collections for a couple of years now, and on that basis we knew that there was something wrong. They are, we're told, a straight copy of a bag that the charity used to use.
The fakers have copied every detail of the genuine bags and printed the fakes in tens of thousands. Had they got through the port, the bags would then have been posted through people's letterboxes here in the UK. The shipment came from Eastern Europe. Surprisingly, the fraud would have netted the fakers an absolute fortune.
Our current intelligence suggests that second-hand clothes fetch somewhere in the order of £700 a tonne. Now, based on the 80,000 bags we've got here, I would estimate that you could get about 10 kilograms of clothes into one of these bags. When you do the maths, that's about £560,000, just over £500,000 worth of fraud. So there's every incentive for fraudsters to get involved in this market.
That's a massive return for the criminals behind the fraud. The fakers had also carefully planned the collections of their bogus bags.
All of the boxes between them cover Monday to Friday, so our fraudsters have got it well set up so they can go around 5 days a week collecting free clothes to sell and to keep the money away from the charities that deserve it.
Mark's appalled by the effect this can have on the charities.
It's totally deceitful and very distasteful, and the victim here obviously is the legitimate charity that people thought they were giving to.
Steve Coop is the director of the genuine charity Cancer Relief UK.
The UK Border Agency at 7 in the morning rang me to inform me that they'd stopped a vehicle at Dover Docks. We were just completely flabbergasted. We were just dumbfounded that someone could do that to a charity. We do so much good work to raise the profile of the charity, and this sort of thing can only do harm.
When we tell Steve the fraud could have made the criminals £500,000, he's appalled.
We would be able to do a lot of good with that money, help people run appeals for treatment that may be needed abroad. Near home, we give out cash grants.
The charity has now introduced a new bag system, changed the design of their collection sacks, and all their collectors wear ID badges.
This is the only legal bag for Cancer Relief UK. If you get a bag any other than this, it is illegal, so it can be reported to either the trading standards or the police.
Coming up, charity fakery doesn't stop with collection bags. We meet the detective constable who discovered the fake charity shop.
Second World War memorabilia can be tremendously collectible and highly valuable, particularly if it involves major battles and the heroes that fought in them. Take this. This is a Distinguished Flying Cross, or DFC, and look, it's from the Battle of Britain. And this is the letter of condolence to the family of the airmen that won all these awards. Altogether, these should be worth around £3,000. I say should because they're fakes. It appears that the fakers have been making a bit of history of their own.
There is a fascination with the battles fought in the skies during World War II. They were key to the Allies' success and a source of national pride. But sickeningly, the market for artefacts has become a target for fakers. Graham Adlam is a collector and dealer of Second World War memorabilia, and he specialises in aircraft. He collects everything from fuel gauges to replica planes.
Owning a piece that was around at the time sort of takes you back in history. It gives you something palpable that you can own and that you can look at.
Rare items can be sold for thousands of pounds, so when Graham spotted a highly prized item, a joystick of a German fighter from the later part of the Second World War, he jumped at the chance to buy it.
I first spotted the joystick on an auction site on the internet. I was quite excited about it because it was from a Messerschmitt 163. There was, I think, less than 200 made.
Graham bid on the item and won.
I paid just over £1,500 for it, which for something as rare as that, I thought was a good price.
The piece arrived and Graham was delighted with his rare find.
When I unwrapped it, I mean, it looked excellent to me. It looked, you know, it seemed a very good piece, so I was quite happy with it.
But when Graham posted a picture of the item online, he was immediately contacted by a military expert, stating the item was a fake and pointing out the reasons why.
The most obvious thing immediately is the red tinge, which is showing under the paint, which is red primer. German grips never had red primer, they were anodised. These letters, they were painted on by hand, that's quite correct, but these letters do not correspond to the ME 163. They're a mishmash taken from other aircrafts. All these buttons, they're from a variety of different aircraft.
The so-called rare item of World War II memorabilia was actually valueless. Graham had lost £1,500.
I'm only a one-man small business, and you know, losing that sort of money is a huge blow. And it's absolutely devastating to find out that the thing was a complete fake and totally worthless.
But the trade in fake Second World War memorabilia doesn't stop there. During the Battle of Britain, certain squadrons and pilots became known for their bravery, and their personal effects are now bought and sold for vast sums. Ian Wilson's a collector specialising in items from 609 Squadron.
I initially bought this item here on eBay. I paid a reasonable amount of money for it, in excess of £400.
The silver cigarette case had supposedly been owned by fighter pilot ace Eugene Tobin and hand-engraved with his name. Ian was initially happy with it until he compared it with another cigarette case he'd bought from the same source. Allegedly a First World War piece engraved with the name of Lieutenant Cox. Looking at both items together, Ian realised the engraving seemed too regular to be done by hand and suspected foul play.
It looks to me as though these have been computer engraved. I know that's possible. The engraving is too clean, it's too accurate. The engraving's shallow. I'm more or less convinced that these haven't been engraved at the time.
Ian thinks the pieces are from the period, but the names of pilots Tobin and Cox have been engraved more recently by fakers, thereby transforming the cases into valuable artefacts. It's a common trick fraudsters are known to employ to increase the value of the item.
Really, when it comes to any item of militaria, if you put a name on an item, it automatically boosts the value of it. I mean, this is a Battle of Britain period flying helmet. It's actually dated 1940, and that's probably worth around about £600. You put a Battle of Britain ace name on that, and you could add a zero to it.
To test his theory, Ian's decided to take the two pieces along to master engraver David Melvin in Newcastle. He'll be looking to see whether the two items are engraved by hand or by machine.
This is an example of machine engraving, which has been done on a computer, a very modern computer. The height of the letters is very regular, the spacing is very regular. This piece is a hand engraved brass plate. It has a brightness of cut.
Ian